So what is up, guys? Welcome back to the More Nick Ackerman channel, and today we're going to talk about the OnePlus Watch 3 43mm versus the OnePlus Watch 3. Shoutouts to OnePlus for sending these out. Now, if you go to their website right here, you'll see that for $299 you can get the all-new Watch 3 43mm. Now, this is basically a smaller version of this one with some reduced features, because I think a lot of people thought that the Watch 3 was just too big. But yeah, so we're going to just kind of discuss these two to see which one is going to be the better option for you. Now, these are basically alternative options to some other smartwatches in the market, like Galaxy Watches, for example. And you can use these on Android phones. They're not compatible with iPhones, but as long as you have a OnePlus phone or any other Android phone out there, it should be able to work fine with the O Health app. We'll talk about more about that later. Alright guys, so let's go ahead and start unboxing them and talk a bit about them. Now, I already did unbox these, so I was ready to go for the review. But you can see here's the OnePlus Watch 3, and this thing is not a sapphire crystal on the front, but you can see it does have a circular design and definitely a really nice display. We also do have ourselves a rotatable crown right there on there, and lugs. The band on these lugs is 18mm. So if we go over here to undo the band here, it is a quick release style. You'll see OnePlus branding and then a proprietary charger. Now, these do charge very fast on the charger that comes in the box. I'll showcase that in a minute. But definitely, it's not like out in your face. It's just a very clean, simple, circular design built for 2025. And if we go ahead and let me put that password in while we're doing that, I'll go ahead and show you. If you click this right here, you will have the ability to zoom out, zoom in on those applications, and it has a nice subtle vibration. I can't really make it out on video because you'd have to feel this for yourself. But definitely it has a nice crown action right there. Okay, and what comes in the box basically is the charger. So over here you will get this proprietary charger, and then it's going to go into this portion right here. Let me go ahead and get this out of the box, and you'll see right here it does charge on this. So once again, if you know, this is not just OnePlus, so this is all the brands. They all have their own little chargers. This is going to be the charger. But the good thing about these OnePlus watches, they actually charge faster than I've seen on some other brand of smartwatches. So I do like that. I mean, they charge really fast. So over here, we do have ourselves the warranty guides and stuff like that. So that's going to be all that comes in there. Nothing too special. So for a quick wrist check, this is how it looks on my 7.5-inch wrist. So definitely on a bigger wrist, this watch is going to look a little bit small, but it still has a nice overall like sweet spot. It will fit good on bigger wrists and smaller wrists right there. But definitely if you're into the more smaller watches for fitness, you don't want some big bulky thing on your wrist, the OnePlus Watch 3 of these two is going to be the way to go. Let's take a look at the Watch 3, how it looks now comparatively. So the 43mm over here. Now we're going to look at the bigger 46mm watch. Now this one, I'm not going to open the box. Same stuff in the box, that same charger and warranty guides. Now this watch has immediately much more presence. It does have a sapphire crystal on the front. Both of these are 5 ATM or 50 millimeters water resist proof, so they can definitely handle some hand washing, showering, swimming, but probably not anything like deep sea diving. They're not that far down, but they can handle your basic day-to-day stuff and, you know, things of that sort, things that you want to do that are mostly besides going way down in the ocean, which I'm sure a lot aren't doing. But this has a glass front, so the sapphire crystal on here is much more scratch resistant and just much more durable. I also like how they have the minute markers here, 5, 15, 25, 35, 45. It matches up nicely with these digital analog watch faces. On the sides too, we do have a very nice brushed stainless steel look. So just overall, the look of the 3 is just much more bold and has a lot more wrist presence. Also, if you get a closer look at the detail here, the crown does have even more details right there. Let me see if I can get that in the zoom. The crown, just really nice details right there. In addition, the way they angled this button was actually a good thing, because when you have this on the wrist, this button is angled in a perfect spot to kind of like hit that button and get to the actions you need to do on the watch. So definitely my pick is going to be between these two, the OnePlus Watch 3, without a doubt. this watch just has way more presence, way more premium. But if you want something smaller, $50 cheaper, this is still going to be the way to go, the 43 millimeter. And for the bigger 46 millimeter, the back looks basically the same. These are going to be 22 millimeter bands, so these are big boys on there. In addition, this watch right here, when it's on a bigger wrist, is going to look far more like it fits better. But at the same time, this is a bigger watch, so I've already bumped into things a few times. If you want to not bump into things, then you will still like the smaller watch. So let's get up in here and we'll talk a little bit more about it. Now, this smaller watch does have a 1.32 inch screen. So of course, with the smaller 43 millimeter, you are working with less screen real estate. The Watch 3 over here is going to give you a 1.5 inch. So this is bigger. Both of them are AMOLED, but this one can peak out at 2200 nits of brightness. So this one is definitely a lot brighter. Over here, both of them do have 466 by 466, so the smaller watch actually does have better pixel density, so up close the text might look slightly sharper. However, how close are you getting to your watch? It probably doesn't matter too much, but let's go ahead and take a look here. And let me go ahead and put the passcode in because it keeps getting triggered. Let me go ahead and put that. And you could see here's some of the watch faces. We'll go through the software in a little bit. But definitely this is giving me those really nice high quality smartwatch vibes right here, definitely. So I think this one is more the value king in the smartwatch space right now versus this one just being a cheaper option that can still give you a lot of value for money if you want the full-blown smartwatch experience that undercuts the competition in price. And they're both rocking the Wear OS, so definitely with the Qualcomm Snapdragon W5 chip in here, you aren't going to have any issues with performance. And this is a big deal because some of the smartwatches back in the days, they used to just be super laggy. These days, we're starting to finally get some very fast day-to-day smartwatches that do pretty much all your actions very well. And this one is no exception. If you enjoy the smartwatch experience, this one is definitely going to be very quick, both of these watches right here. And I think that's one of the things that separates the OnePlus Watch from a lot of cheaper competitors out there is they just have really good performance and fast charging. So you're going to pair these watches with this O Health application right here. So it's called O Health, and then you'll see your device will be paired here. And as we move on down into the watch faces, you'll see that OnePlus does include quite a few, and they're rather nice. And this is always a big thing about smartwatches. You have to have a really nice suite of watch faces, and the ones included are quite nice. They're not quite as customizable as I would like, but they've been well designed. So there's a lot of them for especially people like analog watch faces. There's a lot of those. And then utility ones, there's a lot of those as well. But I think generally they do give you a little bit less than what you can get on some other watches, but still the ones that are here, I'm very happy with them because they look good. Go to metal here, you'll see there's plenty of watch faces in there, and the list goes on. I don't want to show you every single watch face, but there's enough to play around here. I mean, when I was setting this up, I was playing around with this for about an hour or two, like just looking at all of the details and the different watch faces, because there's plenty of them available, and they'll be adding more as well. So you're not going to have an issue finding exactly what suits your style, because with Wear OS, you'll be able to use that as well. So you'll have a pretty simple layout here. You'll be able to use a parental control. You can go to the app market. You'll be able to change the tiles on these watches. So again, these are fully fledged smart watches. They will track fitness data and stuff of that sort. So sleep, SpO2, relaxation, heart rate, you know the drill. You know, smartwatches are starting to standardize all of these specific features, and these both will do that job just fine. So let's get a look at how both of these will operate, and you'll see the crown. If you kind of push it like this, it will show you the apps, and then you zoom in to get closer to them. You can also zoom in and see text based right there. You can also make this a list as well, but let's see some of the applications available. You have Mind and Body, which is definitely gonna, hold on, let me get over here. Mind and Body right here. You'll be able to learn about your physical, fatigue, mental. You can build good habits, so that's pretty fun. You have a phone dialer, you have the weather here, you have the ability to measure elevation right there. And if we go over here, You can see the O Health application there, heart rate, the settings, maps, and of course you'll add more stopwatches, lap recordings. So plenty of things to do here. You can have plenty of fun and download all your applications. And the same applications are available for the OnePlus Watch 3. I took it off the band because that band doesn't sit flush on the table. But if we go over here and swipe through, you can have a mixture between analog and digital watch faces like most of these smartwatches these days. But what strikes me so much about the bigger watch is it just looks like a real watch. It looks so clean. It is digital, of course, with the smart integration, but from a distance, if you have a nice watch face, this thing just looks so classy. So I'm digging the Watch 3 more, way more, honestly, than the 43 millimeter. I'm sure you probably noticed that through my tone in the video, but you can see even the applications are going to be much easier to press just because of the size of the screen. And you have phones, sleep, settings, SpO2, daily activities. And then of course, when you're on the actual watch faces themselves, you can swipe over to the left to get to things like battery, sleeping, heart rate, mind, and then you have the ability to set timers right there, and you can organize those as well. If I tap this down here, it's going to take me to a quick action workout here, so I can go ahead and use the crown to swipe through these things, and that makes it feel cool because it's like a real watch with the crown action right there. So I definitely quite like that about this one right here. Both of these do have 32 gigabytes of storage and 2 gigabytes of RAM, so they are loaded enough to put most of your applications. You shouldn't have any major issues with that. But the big thing here is you're going to get worse battery life with the OnePlus Watch 343 millimeter because it's a much smaller one. This is a 354 milliamp, so this is good for about a day, but no more. The OnePlus Watch 3, this one has a 640 milliamp hour to be exact. Now that is pretty large for a fully fledged smartwatch. This watch's battery will last you about 2 to 3 days. If you're a light using it, you could get probably even more if you're just barely using any features on it. So this battery can definitely last. If you go to the battery sections, it'll tell you right here 2 days and 22 hours based on my current use. Although this is about a 2-day watch if you are using it more heavily. So this is not going to be your 30-day plus type of watch. This is still a fully fledged version, has notifications, messages, the whole drill. So you know what to expect with these types of watches. These aren't 30-day plus smartwatch Garmin type things. These are fully fledged smartwatches, so you're going to have to charge them. And it's not really a problem because you can go several days on this OnePlus Watch 3 here with no substantial battery anxiety. So look at the detail on that little mechanical movement down there. Did I just say that? Like it's actually a mechanical watch? Yes, I did, but it's actually just a digital pixel. But definitely, I think some of the watch faces on here are just like really well designed. They look polished. But definitely some people are going to disagree or agree. It's really up to you. I'm just trying to give you my best take on these two watches right here. I think they're both phenomenal value for the money right here. So let me talk about a few things the OnePlus Watch 343 doesn't have that this one has. So this one right here, actually, we talked about sapphire glass, but this one also has a thermometer skin temperature reader. So you can do that on here if that's something that you care about. That one doesn't have it. This one, they both have barometers, gyros, accelerometers. But this one over here, of course, we mentioned the bigger battery life. Also, the bigger one does give you the military STD 810 compliant support. So this one is just a more durable, bigger, just overall beastlier watch. One of the things I don't love about either of these though is while they do have quick release bands, this is like regular watches. It's not super. I mean, you could put it on, take it off, quick release style, but this is not the easiest way to insert a band. So it's not super hard, but at the end of the day, if you want a watch with easier band release and more options, probably some of the other watches out there are a bit better. So OnePlus could probably change this design and give us something easier to attach. Although the good thing about this is because OnePlus is not like the biggest watchmaker, by using the quick release bands, it does open up your options to basically use all those bands that you would use even on regular watches, all those quick release 22 millimeters. So that's the good thing about it. The bad thing about it though is that, and you might already have those bands laying around, The bad thing about it though is it's not quite as easy to put these bands on by comparison. So wrapping it up, both these watches are pretty fantastic. If you want a lighter, more fitness oriented option, just for like tracking workouts and stuff, you might like the smaller 43 millimeter. If you want a more substantial watch for fitness tracking, day-to-day usage, actual heavy smartwatch use, power smartwatch use, if that's a thing, basically use your smartwatch a lot, the 3 is where it's at. It has way longer battery, has a much more premium feel to it, and this is the watch to get if you use your watch a lot. This is the one to get if you're more into fitness tracking, you have a smaller wrist, you want something cheaper than the Galaxy watches of the world and the Samsung watches of the world. This is the one to get right here. Both of them charge fast, both of them have a nice polished interface for using the smartwatches day to day. Tracking, they all have the features you're going to need when it comes to smartwatch usage. So you're going to be just fine either way you go. But for me personally, I would pick the OnePlus Watch 3. Let me know this one on the right. Let me know your thoughts on these two down below in the comment section of the video. If you found it helpful, entertaining, informing, do me a favor, click the like button for me. Subscribe if you haven't already. I will catch you on the next episode. Nick here. Be sure to be well, and peace.